Hello. This is going to be a series of YouTubes. I'm not too sure how many, two or three, maybe. Lessons on the tarot. Free lessons. Free. Say, Vince, how can you share this wealth of information on the tarot for free like this? My medication. Now I'm ready. Okay. Peanuts. Anyway, I'd like to start out by saying that doesn't make any difference what deck you're using. They're all good. They all work. If you like it, use it. It'll work. You see a deck later on, you want to try that one? Try that one. Maybe you like it better. Maybe use a couple different decks. It doesn't make any difference. They all work. The secret of the tarot has never been in the cards. It's been in their application. And explaining why that works is what my work is about, what my books are about. I think for the first time in their history, we can now explain why the tarot is so effective in finding answers to something in the future that we didn't see before. Now that can be explained. If you like the Rider Waite deck, I go in it pretty deep in Essential Tarot. I also go into it in my first book, Genius of the Tarot. Those are the Rider deck. I got Radical Tarot. I use the same thing. They're all a little different, but there's different stuff in all of them. My newest book, Bare Bones Tarot, is my biggest book. I use my deck in there, the Marseille deck. So if you like the Marseille deck, Bare Bones is the one you want to get. But understanding why it works is something I think is very helpful when you start learning how to read. I thought I would go over some question and answers here about the tarot. I do a lot of mentoring, and I have for years, and it's always been fun. And right now, I'm not really taking any new clients, but you never know. But I thought I would just go over some things that I've always found to be common questions, the same questions, different people. And I remember when I was learning too. So, I mean, I had the same questions. And so I thought I would just go over those with you, because you might have those questions right now. What I'd like to say right off the bat, no matter what you're doing with the tarot, if you're interested in the cards, if you're interested in the tarot, you're on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. And it's real easy to be lost, to think, well, am I doing the right things? Am I wasting my time? Am I using the right deck? Am I interpreting the cards correctly? And it's real easy to doubt yourself when you're first starting out. And so that's one of the things as somebody who teaches, I say that's the biggest thing to teach, is that, you're doing fine. You need a confirmation of that. You need to be able to hear what I'm doing is okay. And my way works, just like anybody else's way works. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I've known a lot of professional readers, made a lot of good friends with them, and It's wonderful. And you'll do the same thing. And you'll see that nobody reads the same. We all read differently. So I just want to go over some questions that I think are very common here. One of them is, am I using the right deck? No matter what deck you're using, it doesn't make any difference. If you like the deck, if you feel you see these cards the best, whether it's a Marseille deck or it's a Rider deck or a Toth deck or any other thing that's out there. Got 78 cards. They're tarot cards. They're all of them have a page of cups. They all have a 6 of swords. They all have a temperance card. They all have a hangman card. They're all the same. So whatever deck appeals to you is the deck you should be using. And I like to use the analogy of a game of chess. You can play great chess on a dime store chess set, or you could play bad chess on $1,000 chess set. Chess set's a chess set, 64 squares on the board. Each side has 16 pieces. It's the same game. And so the deck isn't really important. Whatever you like, that's the deck that'll work for you. And that might change over time too. You might start out saying, I'm going to use this deck. And later I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this over here. I'm going to try a Marseille deck. I'm going to try a different deck and see what I think of this. And they don't have any more power to them. They might work better for you, but that doesn't make them a better deck. It's just what you like to use. And like I said, that can change over time. That doesn't mean what you were using in the past was wrong. No, you changed. So your deck changed. The meanings of the cards can shift too as you move forward. Hopefully what they start to do is expand in meaning. As you start to read, you'll see that this card can mean one thing, but in another reading, it could have a different type of meaning to it. So your cards start to develop a vocabulary and a range of what their possibilities could be. You'll find that happening. But confirmation of what you're doing is all right. If you enjoy what you're doing with those cards, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Meanings the cards really aren't. There's lots of times we've been doing fairs, and there's slow periods, and you'll be talking with other readers, and they'll come up at your table and say, "Hi, blah 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 blah," and you start talking about the tarot cards, and they'll say, "Well, how do you see the moon card?" I said, "Well, I see it this way and that way." Oh, okay, that's interesting. I see it this way. That's a whole different thing. And they're doing just as many readings as you're doing, and they're just as successful as you are. Are they doing something wrong, or are you doing something wrong? No, it's just the way you like to see the moon card or any of the other cards. Doesn't make any difference. As long as you're getting ideas from these cards, you're doing fine. And you'll find that no matter what you read or how you practice in the beginning, what you're learning, 90% of that probably goes out the window anyway when you start reading, because you start to find what works. And you realize that I didn't have to memorize meanings of the cards, or I didn't have to do this particular spread this way, or that way. I can do it my way. And it works better if I do it my way. And there's only one thing that does that, is that's experience. That's how you find those things out. So it's really easy to get confused in the beginning. Think, well, am I doing things the right way? Am I learning anything here? Also, I think it's important to remember it's not going to happen overnight either. um, depending on how much effort you could put into it in the beginning, is going to have a difference. But just because you go on Facebook with it and make a website, don't think the phone's going to start ringing off the wall. It's going to take some time. And I'd like to think of it as an apprenticeship. But think of yourself like a page right now, page of cups, let's say, following a path on something you love to do as a tarot reader. And you have an apprenticeship there. I mean, I was in the printing industry as a lithographer. It was a 5-year apprenticeship. And because you have to learn what you're doing. If you were an electrician, you could have a 5-year apprenticeship probably too, or something else. A doctor. You got to go to school for that. And so it takes time. I'll give you one example. I have a friend, a coworker, reader, and he started by just reading in a coffee house we know. Every Tuesday night, I think he would be there after work. And he would sit there for a couple hours. He knew the owners of the coffee house and they welcomed him to come there. And he'd just sit there, read a book or something. He had a table, tent, said tarot readings, free tarot readings. And he did that for like 3 years. Free tarot readings. So I place he read. And then he started charging because he was getting customers. After a while, people knew he was there. And they started coming up to his table and he started reading them and took time. And then he started charging. And he's a successful reader now. And nobody can go into that coffee house as a reader and touch him because he's just part of the, he's like part of the furniture there. So he's got that place sewn up. And that was his apprenticeship there, just spent a couple hours there every night, every Tuesday night. And started doing it. And we've worked together. He's a good reader. I doubt if he's read too many books on it. Well, I don't know. Maybe he has. I never really asked him. But so really, as far as the meanings go, and don't feel like you're on a tightrope with things, and don't feel it's going to happen overnight. It won't. It might happen a lot quicker than other people, depending on where you're at, what kind of opportunities you get. I tell people, and other YouTubes, I've mentioned this, if you're just starting out and you want to try to get some business, if there's festivals in your town, get yourself a canopy tent, 10-foot square, get them for $100. A couple card tables, a couple folding chairs, put a table tent sign out there or a banner, free tarot readings, and have business cards. And everybody, and you'll have a line of people there. You want experience, you'll have a line of people waiting to get their free tarot reading. Do 5-10-minute readings, popcorn reading. And every reading you do, you give everybody a business card and you say, you can call me anytime. I do phone readings over the phone, take credit card, or I got a PayPal account or whatever you want to do. And that phone will ring. And you'll be getting clients. That's for sure. And leave a tip jar out. Leave a tip jar out. Jar says tips in it. Throw a couple of bucks in there, and people will think, okay, leave a tip, and you'll have money to pay for the for your booth, and maybe extra too. You will. And have fun with it. Have a couple people go with you. Just have fun with it. whatever you do, have fun with it. And you'll find that there's no reason to be discouraged about anything. Any way you want to do it, it's going to work. So it all works. There really isn't any wrong way to do it. There's also no wrong interpretations of the cards. It's a deck of ideas, and whatever those ideas are to you is what's going to work. There's also no incorrect way to do a card spread. Some might be more effective than others. But if you want to change a little bit here and there on a card spread, like the Celtic Cross, or you want to do a gypsy spread or whatever the spread happens to be, don't feel like you're on some tightrope with the exact way to do this. Take it light and breezy. Just do it however you feel. Try different things with it, and you'll see what works for you. And that's what you should be doing. As far as cold readings go, if somebody wants a cold reading, that's another thing people will ask me is, what about cold readings, where people are not going to tell you anything, they're just going to sit in front of you and want you to read them. I always encourage the querent, the seeker, to have a question. And as you read professionally, you're going to see that they all do anyway, because now they're going to pay you money. And if they're going to pay you money to read them, they have a specific issue they came there for. So when you start reading pro, that part of it becomes easier. You're not going to have people asking for a cold reading, at least not too many of them. And I tell people, well, yeah, you could have a cold reading if you want. It'll be more general of a reading because there's nothing specific we're looking into. But I suggest if you have an issue you're sitting across from me for a reason, let's find out what that is, and we'll look at it from there. So I ask as many questions as I ask a lot of questions as a reader. I ask them, are you doing this? Are you doing that? How long has this been going on? So don't feel like you're not supposed to ask questions. Ask as many questions as you want. I also feel that a reading, it's good to have as many facts as you can get about the situation. So get as much information as you can. How long? How do you feel about this? When did this start? What have you done so far? Worst things stand right now. Where do you want to go with this? Whatever you feel. Tell me what happened. And this way you got some idea of what you're looking into. And it also gives you, I think it's important to have something to be intuitive about. So what do you want me to be intuitive about here? Tell me what's going on instead of just guessing about it. Will intuitive ideas come to you? Yes. But if you're like me, I can't control that. Some days I'm more intuitive than others. And I make predictions. But I do feel that most of my predictions are hunches, feelings that I get based on the facts that I'm seeing, based on what I think you should do. And predictions are that. Those are just predictions. But you will find that you start to get that feeling, that intuitive insight, that spark in you. You're going to know it means something. And that's about the best way I can put it to you. So don't worry about the deck of cards you're using as being the right deck. If you like the deck, that's the deck you should use. If that changes down the road, no problem. Use a different deck. Go back to the first one later on, it's fine too. No big deal. There's all sorts of different decks. They're just tarot cards. And as far as the meanings go, I use keywords. Anybody buys my books knows that. And my YouTubes, I show that too. Keywords allow you to have a range more than reading a 2 or 3 sentence definition about a card. There's nothing wrong with reading books that have specific definitions in them either, but don't take them for gospel because you're going to find 10 different books that have 10 different meanings. You'll say, who's right, who's wrong? Well, they're all right. So it's okay. So anyway, I just thought that this might help get some ideas across as far as typical questions. How long is this going to take me to do? That I can't answer. It could, depending on how much time and effort you're going to put into it in the beginning. But just don't be discouraged. Nothing happens overnight. And if you like what you're doing with those cards, other people will like it too. Things to put on your table. Does it help if you put crystals on your table or other things? Candles or whatever. To me, no, doesn't help me at all. Sure, sometimes I got that stuff out there. My wife, Linda, she likes to put stuff out on the table. And so if I'm reading with her, I'll have stuff on my table because she put it there. But it doesn't help my readings at all. I don't think it helps anybody's readings. Usually, if I'm just by myself, I use a doormat, like a 18 by 20 size or whatever they are. I have that in the back of the car. I throw that on the table. It's good for the, it's like a rug. And get good rain down or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. And that's what I use to throw the cards on. And I don't have nothing else on my table, just my cards and that. And I know people who put all sorts of elaborate stuff out there. And if you like that, if it makes you feel good, put it out there. I've seen some wild stuff out there. Amazing what some people put it out there. So I've seen it. I've seen it all. And yeah, readings are good. Fine. You like it? Go ahead. You want to lug all that stuff around with you? Put it out there. Make any difference for your reading? No, I don't think it does. Remember, you're supposed to be having fun. And I think the best thing to know as far as an attitude goes is you're there to help you're there to help people. You're there to help people find answers to something. If you got that intention and you're thinking that when the person's sitting across from you and some total stranger just handed you $20 or $50 or whatever, and they were looking for an answer, remember to keep in your mind, my intention is to help this person. And if you're thinking that way, you know you're coming from a sincere space, and it helps you relax a little bit more as far as your reading goes. And that'll help too. So instead of call me up for mentoring, just listen to this and see how it does for you. You don't need any mentoring. Watch my YouTubes, watch other people's YouTubes, buy books on it, enjoy what you're reading. And yeah, if you still want some private lessons, they don't hurt, but are they necessary? No. No. So keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon. Bye.